Gentlemen, I'd like to call our joint meeting today to order for our Wednesday, June the 2nd, 2023 board meeting. We're having a board meeting with our school board and the Board of Supervisors. I'd like to welcome everybody here today. And Ms. Christopher?
Yes. The school board will conduct a joint quarterly meeting with the Board of Supervisors located at the new courthouse complex, 220 Judicial Place, Heathfield, Virginia, 22473 on Wednesday, August 2nd at 5:30. The meeting will be open to the public using Zoom conference calling system or in person. To join the Board of Supervisors meeting using Zoom conference calling services, the following information is needed. Topic: joint quarterly meeting with the Board of Supervisors and the school board. Joint meeting ID 879-8402 5429. Passcode 847550. Phone numbers 888-475-4499 or 877-853-5257. Okay. The meeting will now come to order. As far as the school board, we have established a quorum.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Welcome all of you all here again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have anything on the specific on the agenda except for a discussion of our joint meeting. And y'all ladies want to start first? It's fine with us.
So good evening to our Board of Supervisors as well as our school board. We wanted to provide you with quarterly updates this evening. If you'll look inside the packet that has been provided to you, I'm going to start off with a memo with the subject line Back to School Updates. For Back to School Updates, we had new teacher orientation that was held on July 26th and 27th. You can see a picture of our new teachers, and we provided you with a list of their names as well as the positions they are filling on page 1. Moving to page 2, we had teachers and staff return on Monday, July 31st. And I attached the NCPS back to school calendar for your review. Last evening, we attended National Night Out. This was the first event by the Sheriff's Office hosted at our complex on Academic Lane. NCPS partnered with the Sheriff's Office, and it was a huge success. We also provided you with a picture there. This evening at 7 p.m., we have a Moose Lodge Pack the Bus donation event, and we thank the Moose Lodge so very much. 9th grade orientation at the high school was held today. Open house for all schools will be tomorrow, August 3rd, from noon until 6:30. There will be another Pack the Bus event. It's our traditional Walmart Pack the Bus event that happens in Kilmarnock. That's on Friday, August 4th, and donations can be made from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We will have our Northumberland school bus. I believe Lancaster also is participating, and we will have staff members. We thank everyone in advance for their generosity. On Monday, August 7th, we will host Convocation. This will begin at 9. We also will offer an open house for the new academic and athletic building, and that will be on Monday from 7:45 in the morning until 8:30 a.m. We are welcoming our employees, and we will have donuts and fruit and a light breakfast available for them in the new building. There will be a tentative ribbon cutting ceremony for the new academic and athletic building on September 11th. As a celebration, we are so excited about the addition of an agriculture education instructional series. These classes will be offered to middle and high school students, and we have a new agriculture education teacher on staff. The first day of school for all students is Monday, August 14th. The school day runs from 8 a.m. until 3:05 p.m. Additional updates. Preliminary accreditation results for the elementary school, the middle school, and the high school. All schools are fully accredited. On page 3, the Virginia School Board Association recognized Northumberland County Public Schools. We took first place for a staff wellness activity. Specifically, that was for our activities, Hobbies for Health, that we showcased last year at Convocation. And we provided a picture of our school board accepting that award in July. Next, the athletic and academic building construction progress. The climate control installation is 75% complete. Most flooring finishes and all painting is complete. The next school board meeting is held on Monday, August 14th at 6 p.m. in the high school and middle school auditorium. And this evening, I am going to present a response from our school board to the request from the Board of Supervisors regarding Heathsville School Board Office and CIP funds. Attached to this, you will see our back-to-school calendar before we move on to that request that you brought to the school board. All right, I'm going to move on to the letter dated August 2nd, 2023, regarding response to the request from Board of Supervisors for the Heathsville School Board Office and CIP. Dear Board of Supervisors, the school board received your letter regarding the school board's request to transfer the current bank property located at 6958 Northumberland Highway, Heathsville, Virginia. Please be reminded the school board requested for the supervisors to cover the cost for the roof replacement with county funds prior to transferring the property, and for the roof replacement to be completed by fall of 2023 prior to the transfer. In the letter, the Board of Supervisors requested further information related to how the new construction funds of $1,134,172 will be used. The school board met on June 22nd and prioritized the following capital improvement projects, parentheses CIP, to be paid with the new construction funds. Number 1, flooring upgrades at the elementary school, $379,380. Number 2, replacement of the NES playground for $500,000. Number 3, repairs to the concrete walkways at the middle school and high school for $70,860. Number 4, a rooftop stairway at NES for the cost of $63,756. Number 5, resurfacing the athletic track at a cost of $120,000. The 5 CIP projects listed above total $1,133,996. The remaining $176 will be applied to other operations and maintenance projects. Thank you in advance for considering the request to transfer the Heathsville School Board Office property. Sincerely, the Northumberland School Board, Betty Christopher, Gail Starrett, Cheryl Davis, Denise Mazik, and Dana O'Beer. Mr. Chairman and Madam Chair, at this time, that concludes school division updates.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any board members have any questions or comments?
I got one thing.
Yeah.
Ms. Walgo, for the citizens that are here, could you clarify the funds that y'all are going to be using to cover your CIP, where they come from?
They are federal funds, and they're called new construction funds. They're earmarked for new construction.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other questions? I am glad to see that you have an agricultural teacher coming in.
We're thrilled. She's from Penn State.
Penn State, okay.
Yes, they have a wonderful program.
All right.
Probably not as good as Virginia Tech, but it's comparable.
It's try to get in and meet her and see her program, give her a chance to
Absolutely.
get set up a little bit.
And she already has FFA jackets hanging in her classroom, so we will have an active
All
FFA.
right.
Super
I'm glad to see
excited.
that come back.
They'll
Yes.
be happy.
Yeah, I am glad to see that come back. All right, any board members have any other questions, comments? All right.
I'd like to publicly congratulate Dr. Wargo and the staff for being preliminary fully accredited at all the schools. That's a big
Oh,
deal.
okay. Yeah, that's very good too.
Biggest.
Thank you.
Yeah, that means a lot right there.
Well, it's a team effort. We have wonderful teachers, staff, and administration. So because of them, all schools are fully accredited, and we're so very proud of everyone's hard work, including our students and families.
How many new
In your
teachers?
new building, you'll have that opened on the,
Oh,
But I can,
was your opening ceremony on the 9th, I think, wasn't it? 11th. Okay.
Board day.
Well, that's
It'll be
good.
prior to our monthly meeting for September.
All right. I know y'all will be enjoying that building.
In response to the letter she read, what is the update on the roof at the bank building that y'all own?
We have approved the contract onto it, so we're waiting on the contractor to get supplies and get it in
Okay.
their schedule.
Okay, so you don't have a date or anything?
We don't
Okay.
have a start date
But you
yet.
do have a contract?
Yeah, we do have a contract.
What company did y'all go with?
It was Elion Construction.
Yeah.
I want to say they're like around Manassas up that way, but
Can you spell that?
Elyon, I believe.
I think that's how it is. I'm not, I can't
I can
remember.
check real quick.
They were low bidder by
Yeah.
a substantial amount too.
Okay.
And they're fully licensed and everything like that too.
Have they done other buildings for y'all? No?
No, but
No,
from what we understand and what's been said about them, they do excellent work.
Okay, gotcha.
We don't have a time frame on when they're gonna start or anything.
It wasn't in the contract?
Well, they haven't had time to get all that straight yet. They gotta get materials on it. That's the first hang-up.
Okay,
Once they get that, then we'll know their schedule.
okay. And the contract is public?
Public.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, the spelling I gave you is correct, Ms. Obier.
Elyon.
Elyon, yes, ma'am.
Correct. Okay, got it. Thank you.
And we're in the process of getting the contract back from them signed and to start the process of moving forward. And when we did the initial meetings, pre-bid meetings, we gave them a timeline that, for all bidders, that we were looking to have this done this fall.
Right.
So we anticipate once they get there, it should be like a 60-day ballpark turnaround is how it's structured.
Okay,
So as we find out more with their start date, we will be communicating with Dr. Wargo.
okay.
There were no indications of supply chain issues as they represented.
Okay.
That's good.
Madam Chair? Yes. I'd like to present something. On behalf of the school board, the school budget was dated March 24, 2023 this year and sent to the county administrator. It was first formally discussed by the Board of Supervisors at our joint board meeting on April 19, 2023. Over the next 3 months, there were the required subsequent work sessions and public hearings. Employee contracts have been distributed twice by the Finance Department. The first time after the Board of Supervisors appropriated a 5% salary increase to employees falling under the instructional category after the June 22nd meeting. Employees in the remaining categories were issued final contracts after the Board of Supervisors met again on July 18th and approved the requested transfer of funds from the instructional category into the categories of maintenance and operations, transportation, admin and health, and technology, so that all school employees would receive the appropriated 5% salary increase. Almost all other counties have had their contracts in the hands of employees before they left for the summer break at the end of May or early June. Our employees did not receive final contracts until after July 18th. This is the latest Northumberland contracts have ever been issued. We lost employees to other counties with contracts finalized earlier, and this delay put undue stress on our Finance Department employees and every employee who wondered what their salaries and jobs would entail for the upcoming school year. All of this disruption and confusion could have been avoided if the ability for our school board to transfer already appropriated funds between our own categories without the delay caused by waiting weeks for the Board of Supervisors to grant the transfer that they eventually did. Madam Chair, I move that the Northumberland County School Board formally requests the Board of Supervisors to return the ability to transfer funds between categories back into the hands of the Northumberland County School Board and administration, as it has been for many years in the past.
Do I hear a second?
Respectfully, a second.
Comments? Vote?
Aye. May I add one other comment?
Yes, ma'am.
We request that the Board of Supervisors to make and approve this motion tonight that returns the school board funding to lump sum status with the ability to move appropriated funds between categories.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Comments? Vote?
Aye.
Anything else?
All right, any comments from the board?
Well, I think we got some unsolved issues that need to be resolved.
Which are what?
Well, finances, reconciliation of your reports. There have been questions asked by the citizens that have not been answered or not answered well enough that they're satisfied. And until we make some progress and the citizens are satisfied with the answers that they're getting, I will not vote to put this back into a lump sum.
We've already reconciled, we've caught up with the reconciliations and the reimbursements. And it's been signed off by Ellen Kirby. So I don't understand what citizens are, everything's kind of been answered.
Not from what I'm getting from phone calls and emails. They're still not satisfied with, one big question that the citizens want an answer to is, why does it cost almost $20,000 a year to educate a child in Northumberland County? And they want to answer that. It's not just because that's what it is. They want to answer. They want to see proof where the cost is at to teach a child in Northumberland County, and it costs $20,000 a year.
Dr. Wargo, is that out of line with the state?
Well, you have to figure in the local composite index. Northumberland has a high local composite index, and Tommy's nodding his head yes.
Well,
So that's the total cost, but you have to remember that that's broken down into local, state, and federal dollars.
But what is, well, I know you don't know right off the top of your head what
We've provided
the
it.
average of the state to educate children is.
I
up
haven't
there.
looked at their $20,000 figure, but we had provided to this board how that's broken down between local, state, and federal. I'm more than happy to.
you've muted your mic.
Thank you, sir. So I'm more than happy to bring that information regarding what other counties contribute, but we do have a high local composite index in Northumberland, which makes it difficult for.
I think that's a valid
locality.
question. It's a valid question for people to understand what's going in to educate the children and how much it's costing.
I like to throw, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I like to throw something out there and see if it would be entertained between the two boards. I'd like to have a work group.
A what?
A work group,
Work group?
yes. And let's work through some of the issues and concerns of what's being brought to the board. I'd like to, and this is just me talking, I'd like to see 2 school board members on it. I'd like to see 2 board members on it, the superintendent, and the county administrator, and 2 citizens.
2 citizens, I think that's good too.
I think
I
we-
like that idea.
And I think we need to get, before we can move forward with any of this, let's focus on answering some of these questions to the best ability that we can.
And tackle the budget before it becomes, we got to vote on it, or you've got to vote on it.
Yes.
Like
And I
periodically
just,
throughout the year.
yes. I think that would be more productive than trying to get together to have a joint meeting and we sitting here trying to,
It would certainly be more transparent.
yes. That's my suggestion.
Do we need a motion for that? Or do you all, or do both?
And if
Well,
y'all
it's
wish
his
to have a dis-
suggestion, so he should make the formal motion.
Well, we
I'll make a
probably
motion.
both boards.
I'll make the motion to my board that we form a committee.
All right, I'll second that, because I think that's a good idea.
And I make the motion for our board.
All right, we
Now,
we
state
only
the
have-
motion.
we only
Yeah,
have
but
one
they got
motion
to
at a
vote.
time.
Hold on.
One motion at a time.
Yeah,
Okay.
not yet,
All right, any other
one
discussion?
board at a time.
One thing about this, hopefully it'll give us answers and we can discuss things. Composite indexes, if you look at Stafford County out there, they basically have the same composite index. And what that boils down to is the amount of funding that we get. It does not change the amount of cost per student. Their student cost is right at $15,000. So we're $5,000 over. That's over $5 million a year. That's what we want to know. Where is that additional funding going? And what is it getting us? That's the biggest question right there.
And I'll be happy to bring comparisons with the neighboring divisions as well as others that are, give you a full cost on that. I believe they have that on the Department of Education
Yes.
website.
Table 15.
Sherry?
Yep.
Annual report. The composite index is frankly an antiquated system, and the joint JLARC just did some on that. It is comprised of real estate values, which is double, sales tax, and adjusted gross income, I believe. Obviously, we have waterfront, which increases our value. We are actually by that wealthier than Fairfax County. But it only looks at sales tax. If, like Virginia Beach, last time I saw the figure, which was 15 years ago, they got 20 to 32 to $300 million in taxes, which we at the time could not even assess, like lodgings tax, meals taxes, and things like that. I think Thomas Jefferson invented it almost. It's about that old. Like you have Highland County, which is the one county, any county is less than 2,500 population, they have special rules, like they only need 50 people for a petition. But that's Highland, but they have a they got a dam there, which makes electricity for Dominion or APCO, I don't know, whoever. And so they're high. Surrey has a nuclear power plant, and Surrey is not a wealthy county by any stretch of the imagination. So it's an equitable formula that does penalize counties that have out-of-balance scenarios. Obviously, we have a lot of retirees who have high adjusted gross income. And you know from the information you have, we have a lot of students who are on free and reduced lunch. So you've got this situation here, and that doesn't help us, meaning the county and staff and everybody, to have funding that's equal to everybody else. So that's the challenge on that, and it's a zero-sum scenario. If you improve it for us, somebody else has got to pay more. And the one group that's not going to pay any more is the state government. It's always going to be put back on local governments at whatever level. As the JLARC came out, there's a lot of they're funding based upon X number of students to administrator or whatever. And when I worked for the Department of Juvenile Justice at Beaumont, they'd have a principal, 2 or 3 assistants, and they had correctional officers there too for discipline. But that's what they were doing. They had less than 300 students. But you know the ratios. If you got to have X number of students to be able to get a full-time, et cetera. So nobody in the state also funds, the state does not fund what the localities combined, not individual, are actually staffing. Because that SOQ, SOA, whichever it is based upon their figures, which does not reflect reality. So it's a funding scenario which a lot of people in Washington and Richmond talk about funding education, but it's the local taxpayers who are funding it. The buck is literally being passed to the local governments. So, but it's not going to be ever resolved really. So, but it is a sore subject, because if you change this, it also takes student enrollment. If you start, you can do your numbers and you can watch the figures move up and down. It's not a fun formula to play with. Done?
All right.
We
Any
have a
other
motion-
comments?
We have a motion.
Oh, wait a
They've
minute.
got a
not
call.
yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait a minute.
Finish.
We have a motion on the floor
They
yet.
haven't got it.
That was discussion.
All right.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No other comments? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes.
All right, now,
Madam Chairperson, I move that the Northumberland County School Board approve the creation of a joint committee comprised of members of the Board of Supervisors and the school board to organize and proactively work together to plan throughout the year in the interest of transparency. A committee will be comprised of 2 members from each board, both administrators and 2 citizens.
all right, do I hear a second?
Second.
Comments?
I'd like to know how the choice of the 2 citizens would be taking place.
I think the school board could pick a citizen, and the county would pick a citizen. I think that'd be the fairest way to do it.
Is there going to be requirements of that citizen, like be a parent of a student, to have interest
No.
within the?
It's whoever you choose to pick to be on your committee.
So no application process or anything, just,
Just pick a chosen, Citizen.
Whoever you feel that would be the person to do that job.
yeah.
Whatever the 5 want, be fine.
I would think you would want it to be a parent, to have a local interest in the school system.
Well, you need somebody for good common sense, ability to read a budget.
Well, all of our parents have common sense and read a
And,
budget.
uh,
I don't
yeah,
think
yeah,
you
I
should
understand
say
where you-
that.
Everybody's got that.
I understand where you're
Yeah.
coming from on that,
Yeah,
but I look at all citizens pay taxes. And,
Oh, well, of course.
yeah, and so that's why I just
But
don't want to limit
you
it to a
also have
parent.
citizens that don't pay taxes that still come in and voice their opinions. So I'm just making sure it's somebody that has an actual interest in the kids of our schools, not just a chosen student.
But yeah, let's just get the committee off the ground.
Yeah,
Call the question.
yeah.
Call the question?
I have one question before we vote. How will this be scheduled, and who will be in charge of putting, like, a timeline on this and, details? Will that be our administrators, the two, Mr.
Yes.
Tadlock and Dr.
I
Wargo?
think the communication for setting up the meetings and
Right.
the times would come through the county administrator and the school superintendent.
This would be in addition to our joint meetings, correct?
Yes.
We'd still have, okay,
Yes.
I got you.
Okay.
Call the question.
Question? Call the question?
Vote.
No problem.
She wants to vote.
Wait, just a vote.
Okay.
Aye.
All right, I'm gonna do that. So,
All those.
all right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the matter has passed.
All right. A little more work for y'all ladies.
Yeah.
Had to put Dr. Wargo and Ms. Tadlock busy again.
That's okay, we've been meeting every week for the past 3 months, so.
Right?
What's one more?
one more day?
That's good.
We can do it at the same meeting when you meet. You don't have to do it a separate day.
Yep.
Got to be economies of time too, you know.
Right.
All right, any other comments from the board? No other comments? All right. No, I don't have anything else to say at the time. Any comments from the school board? Or any other comments?
Anyone have anything?
I really like this idea. I think it's a good step.
I know we were meeting, we had like both chairmen, one board member, and Dr. Wargo and Mr. Luttrell, but that was only one meeting. It didn't ever occur again.
Two members, you and I were there.
That's what I mean, the chairperson
Yeah.
and one. But I'm tickled about it being two citizens as well. So I really like that idea.
Hopefully it will help us.
Well, anytime you meet together and work for a common cause, and that's our kids, it's going to help you. We just need more communication is what it is.
One more
Communication's
question.
good.
One more question. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Would these be open or closed meetings?
I think it needs to be open. And
Yeah.
You don't have a
also,
quorum, but I
ma'am,
say you don't have a quorum, so I don't know what that issue, whether it would be.
It's not covered by FOIA, but that doesn't mean you cannot still hold a meeting in
Yeah.
the public.
right.
Okay. that's
Anytime
fine.
you have three or more members together, then it's a public meeting and
Right.
it has to be open.
But I think for the public's concern and their benefit, to allow it to be in public, and they can listen and see what's going on. And we can even have a public comment period in there also.
Okay.
So they can ask questions and hopefully we can give them some answers. Anything else?
When will this start? And when will we need to have the citizen input?
I think we
in
need
place?
to start this month, as soon as possible.
August?
Yes, August. Yeah, this is August now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just turned. Summer's almost gone.
Right.
I think we need to do this. We have board meeting next week,
Pretty young.
so that's pretty going. Probably the following week.
Ours is of like the 14th, so it'll have to be after that.
All right. All right. We need to meet as soon as possible, and maybe Dr. Wargrove and Mr. Tadlock, they can get together and come up with something. So you meet on the 14th?
Monday.
All right, we got our board meeting on the 10th.
Even if you meet September, it's still within the current quarter. And that way, they would get the beginning of school
That's-
over with and,
I'm sitting here thinking by the time both boards meet
Yeah.
and we decide who's gonna be on the committee and pick a citizen, we're gonna be well into August. Then we're gonna be
Yeah.
trying to rush
Yeah.
things. Let's plan it and be well prepared, and let's hold our first meeting in September.
yeah.
September?
Because some people do take vacations during
Yes.
the summer too, so.
Yeah, well, that's,
And-
that's
Well, that
that's
would
true.
allow our staff to get, Dr. Wargo and get past the first day of school and all the hiccups with that, so.
In September, let's see, our board meeting starts on the 14th. Yours on the 11th?
Second Monday, whatever that is.
Yeah,
11th.
September 11th.
That would be the 11th, yeah.
Oh,
So that week's kind of out. So you got the first week, you got the third week, and the fourth week.
Well, that'll be up to the
But
group
that's-
meeting to
that's
make up their own
to the
dates.
group and all. That's probably about the only weeks that we have open. All right. Any other questions or comments? All right.
Open discussion, don't we? Anyone else?
We don't have,
Okay,
anything. We just have adjournment.
okay.
Unless you have something that you
So
want to
in
go
an
over.
open discussion, anyone who would like to discuss anything right now, would you do it? If you tell us how you're thinking, tell us what you want. Tell us how you feel.
That would be public discussion now. I didn't
Are
hear.
you offering public comments right now
It's open discussion.
Open discussion.
from the public?
Okay,
Okay, they were
Yes.
just confused.
yep.
Yeah.
That's what they said.
And I'm speaking for a citizen. I think everybody knows I'm Shelby Brooks. I'm also an employee of the school system. I want to tell you how excited I am about this. I think the unrest that has happened has caused not just citizens, but employee anxiety. And I think by having this group come together like this with citizens, I think it would be awesome. And Mr. Brand, you're my representative. I want to thank you for that suggestion. So for me as a citizen, I don't know how the other citizens feel, but I'm sure there's a lot in this community along with the employees. I really think that this would be excellent. And the other thing is, if we can get contracts earlier, it would be so helpful, because at the high school, we have 5 teaching positions that we do not have filled. And the scheduling is crazy right now. So for me, I really feel this is a good move for not just the county, but for our school system also. So I want to thank you all for that.
All right, anyone else like to speak? Come on up, please.
I think from the citizen's point of view, the problem is that the student population.
Excuse me, would you state your name for the
Lynn
record,
Stewart,
please?
Lotsburg. I think from the citizen's point of view, the problem is that the student population continues to decrease and the budget continues to increase. Understanding that 5% of teachers' salaries are built into the increase every year, there are still exponential increases. And I've done a bunch of research. I can tell you tonight, Northumberland County funds 60% of the school board budget, compared to 24% from state, and, should have put my glasses on, 16% from federal. It's the highest among Richmond, Westmoreland, and Lancaster counties in terms of county contribution to education. At the same time, when you go to the Virginia Board of Education or superintendent's reports, you don't see an exponential increase in student performance. And so from just a citizen's point of view, it's like, what are we paying for? Why are we paying that much for it? $19,990-something a year is $3,000 a year more than a University of Virginia School of Architecture tuition per year. If you look at the stats of performance, 44% of our students are math proficient at graduation. Those aren't my numbers, those are the state numbers. And so as citizens, we say we're paying an extraordinary amount of money for a graduating class, and this is not necessarily a local school board issue. I give you that. When the ESSA requirements, which are not a local school board requirement, are that you only have to show an increase in ability, not necessarily proficiency, to be passed, that's not a local school board issue. That's not an issue we can take up with you because it's a state and federal issue. But as a citizen, all we see is escalating costs, and we don't see an escalating return on that money. It's not about teachers getting a fair salary. That's not what it's about. It's not about the school board being evildoers. That's not what it's about. But from a citizen's point of view, it's what is happening that the school test scores, while they're increasing, we're still not graduating 50% of our seniors that are math proficient. On the other side of the coin, we have a group of citizens looking to increase economic development. Well, if we don't have a workforce that's math, English, writing, reading proficient, there's no reason for them to come here because we can't supply the workers. It's not just school board. The money that goes into the school board affects all other services. And so we have to look at it, and really and truly, it's a matter of what have other departments not been able to be funded at what level, because we're making sure that the school board is funded. Everyone else in the county went back to their budget and sharpened their pencil and took money away from their budget to make this all work. And we don't see the same thing happening with the school board, understanding that some of it is just built in by state mandate and you have nothing to do with it. We get that. And so I want to make sure that the school board and everyone understands that it's not about us thinking that you're being mean and somehow ugly about this. It's a matter of how can we impact that budget to reduce it to its lowest possible level to make sure our kids get everything that they need that will show result. Because right now we're not seeing it. Thank you.
May I make a comment?
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Stewart, could
Yeah.
we set up a time for you to come and sit down with us? Because I'm not sure your research is all relevant to Northumberland County, and I would really like to straighten out some of the claims that you make about the fact that we're not proficient. We just got accredited, but
No, I didn't say you weren't accredited. I
you
never
said we weren't proficient.
I said the kids'
Why
test
not?
scores didn't.
But do you know what an accreditation means? That their test scores are proficient? We're talking two different, you're exactly right. We really need to sit down and look at where you're coming from. I mean, if you don't mind, pull your calendar out and let's sit down and talk about it and see if we can kind of get on the same page.
Okay, well, I would really love to, I would really love right now, this minute, to know where, if, what I'm seeing is that 44% of graduates are math proficient.
In Northumberland County, you're finding that number?
I'm sorry?
You're finding that number in Northumberland County?
Yes.
I need to see where you're seeing that.
Okay, honestly, if you give me a card, I will send you the link
No,
to
I
the
mean,
data.
we need to sit down, because it's like every month I think we just need to communicate if we can, because we are comparing different things, and I don't think you have all the facts relevant to Northumberland County students.
Okay.
Because your research, I mean, I'll be happy to sit with you, and I'm sure Dr. Wargo would too, and anybody else.
I'm
You
looking
can't
at Virginia,
overtalk
I'm
this.
looking at Virginia superintendent reports.
Okay, can we,
And that, I'm assuming, is a roll-up of county data that goes to the state.
Virginia DOE,
right, DOE.
Superintendent Reports, annual.
However, there are interpretations of those numbers that are relevant to this county. We need to sit down with
Okay,
them,
I'm
because
more
if
than
you'd be
happy.
happy to do
I
that,
am
we-
more than happy to do that.
Okay,
I
I'll
am.
talk to you after then.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, I'm out.
All right, anyone else like to speak? Anyone else like to speak? Come on up.
James Penny, Heathsville, Virginia. Ladies, a lot of the information that we rely on when we're going digging for data, truthfully, truth be known, Dr. Warco, you're the source. You are the source because once a year on the 24th of August, you have to send in a full report to the Virginia Department of Education. That information is compiled onto a website that is open to the public. And let me tell you something, it ain't pretty, because you're able to pull up every county of the 135 municipalities in the state of Virginia and compare them. It ain't pretty.
In Northumberland and pretty, or?
When you start, well, let's put it this way. I've done a series of reports for my own benefit that compared 5 surrounding counties. For the year of 2022, of the 5 surrounding counties being Middlesex, Lancaster, Richmond, Westmoreland, and there's an Essex and Northumberland County, who had the best across the board SOL scores, bar none?
2022?
Yes,
Didn't we
last year.
just get those in, the preliminary? Are they even in?
No,
on the
they're
DOE?
2023. That's this calendar year that you're talking about. I'm talking about 2022. Her report goes in the 24th of August each year. It is compiled and is usually available on the Virginia DOE site first part of January.
2022.
Okay? And when you start comparing those counties, Middlesex County is leading the pack. Northumberland's down the list, depending on just exactly whether you're looking at high school, middle school, 8 to 12, the different grades. If you'd like those reports, I'll put them on your desk.
Well,
Give me your card.
I can find them.
Okay, well, I've already done it. I've already done it. High school teacher to student ratio, 8 grades, 8 to 12, 1 to 6. 6 students per teacher.
Not right.
It's from her report.
No, I think you're mistaken on that. We don't have 6 students.
I wish we had 6 students per teacher.
That'd be
Well,
awesome.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I
I'll give
think
you
the
my
hard
email, but I don't
thing-
have a
Okay.
card.
Okay.
With all due respect, and Mr. Penny, I very much appreciate your feedback. The hard thing with this type of meeting is that we need to know what you would like us to respond to, because I haven't brought that
Well, I'm
information today.
simply giving you a reference point to one of the sources of information that we have,
Absolutely,
okay?
yes.
Yes, there's a lot of information out on the internet, but I've done a fair amount of digging to find information that is from a source that we have to believe.
Yeah, they
It's
have
coming
it.
off of your desk, okay? Plain and simple.
I'm happy to sit down and we can look at that together
Be glad
and
to.
see what you're looking at, because we definitely don't have a teacher ratio
Well,
of
we
1
didn't
to
have
6.
public
Can we
comment
all
on
do
this.
that?
But
Can we
but
just,
since
I
you
mean,
had it,
with
we
Ms.
went ahead
Stewart and you
and I
and
just went ahead and
Howard?
Be
put
glad
that
to.
on
I
there.
would love to do that, because I don't have those numbers at my head either.
Well, it's from doing a lot of, we reference to it as going down the rabbit hole.
But, yeah, and DOE is not always the easiest thing to decipher.
They've got some charts that can be fairly confusing. But
So,
when you stand back and study them long enough, it starts to make sense. I mean, it gives you ratios of teachers to kids based on whether or not you're in elementary or this type of information. I'll be quite honest with you, I'm looking forward to when your 20 year in 23 report goes in, because it will give me current data to look at.
Okay. And again, we're totally happy to sit down and see what you're looking at, and we can look at it and understand it together.
Fine, because, and why are we having to do this? Because lack of information, frankly.
Well,
We're
you are
trying to
always welcome to
rationalize
call
and
us.
come up with the reasons.
Yes, sir. My recommendation for both of us is that if any citizen has a question, please feel free to call my office and set up a time to sit down. It's hard at a Board of Supervisors meeting, especially a quarterly one, to
I understand
probably come away from this with resolution.
Okay.
So I think a more individual meeting would be very helpful,
Okay.
where we can get to know each other and look at what you're looking at.
Well,
Okay,
we always say that, so let's set a date.
okay.
And we can
After
meet
this
with you
meeting.
after this
My
meeting.
email address is jp123 at pm.me.
Help me.
jp125 at pm.me, M-E.
At pm.me.
Mhm.
Okay?
And it's not only
What was your first name again? I'm sorry.
Jim, or just call me Jim, it's James Penny.
Penny.
EY.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Penny.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Anyone else like to speak?
Didn't expect I was going to be doing this tonight.
You say that every meeting.
Tradition.
We miss you. We miss you.
Couple of points of frustration, things that have been brought up here tonight. So, for your purposes, if Lynn Stewart has to go somewhere else because the information that the school is providing to the public is wholly inadequate, that's not on her, and it's not her lack of understanding. When school board members want to lean extremely in a biased fashion as far as the membership of the new group that's being formed, to only parents, leaving out 98% or better of the taxpayers, that tells me that there's a thought process going on that may not be good for the community as a whole. Just wanted to point those things out. The other part is when you call individual speakers up, say, here, can we sit down with you? You're trying to do an end run around the group that y'all just formed. That's what that group is for. That's what needs to happen in that group. So let's not go having onesie-twosie meetings. Let's do it within the framework that y'all have established tonight and make it happen that way. Trust me, the citizens are going to make y'all know what they need to know for that group. So it's going to be just fine. But we need to quit the bias stuff and the aggressions and all that stuff. It's got to stop. I've told Holly this a number of times. I think there's a little bit of efficiency issues, how workflows go over there at the schools that need some analysis. But that's, I don't, that's like the chicken and the egg. You know, you've got a yin and a yang issue here. There's certainly some efficiencies that need to be gained, but how do you get to them without addressing all the baggage that's currently in the air? I don't know. But if the state has bad information and the school's got better information, but the public doesn't get to see it, because trust me, there's some brilliant researchers in this community. And if that school information isn't out there, you're going to make the citizens go off elsewhere. And right now, the suspicion, this level of suspicion is extremely high because performance has been low for several years now. So let's get this group going that you all set up, and let's clean up this act. Because there's a lot of stuff that needs to be addressed, and it's going to be a group that I hope will run for a long time because we need it. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Anyone else like to speak? Do we have anybody in the virtual world today? Anybody in the virtual world would like to speak today?
Can you ask him to step away from the door?
Anybody?
Can't hear him.
Got one? All right, would anybody in the virtual world like to speak today? Nobody? Nobody?
Not to my knowledge.
All right,
Real people.
we don't have anybody in the virtual world wants to speak. No
Okay.
one, and no one else here wants to speak tonight.
Okay.
You have any other comments, questions?
I would just like to say something. My opinion was for it to be a parent. And that's not, if you took it the wrong way, that's on you. My point wasn't that tax-paying citizens are not contributing to our school and our students. My opinion was one of the citizens should be a parent. And as far as, aggression, or Ms. Stewart said that we're like a mean board, or whatever her comment was, that's her opinion. We've tried to keep everything civil. We have to work together for the kids of this county, period. And we have to both be transparent, both boards. And anything y'all want, our doors, we have an open door policy all the time, all the time. We can't read everybody's mind. If these citizens have questions and they're going to the Board of Supervisors and the questions are about the school board, that's ridiculous. You also have a school board member that you vote for within the same district of a Board of Supervisor. If you have questions about the schools, why are you going to the Board of Supervisors? Come to your school board member. My cell number, my email, everything is public knowledge. Why are we doing this runaround game of going to the Board of Supervisors? We are both elected boards, and I plan on us staying elected boards. So we are doing our job as running the schools. They're doing their job of running the money for the county. But any questions from any citizen, parent, or anybody else should be directed to a school board member if it pertains to a school. And if you get the questions, forward it to the school board member of your district. Everybody wants questions answered. Everybody has questions. I get it. I have a lot of questions for my Board of Supervisor member. I don't understand where the hostility comes into play when we're all trying to work together. And sometimes I think the citizens are trying to create the drama and hostility, and we're trying to keep our cool. So, when y'all get up and do your speeches, why don't you think about that? Why don't you think about trying to be a peacemaker at the same time of asking questions? That's all I have.
Can I get your cell number, please?
804-761-1548. And thank you for your suggestion of the committee, Jimmy.
Anything else from another board member?
Luttrell, did you have anything, and Drew give a little bit of an update on the contract for the roof for the school board office? Any additional, anything new, other than we've put the contract out there?
No, I'm not sure. Drew filled me in a little bit as we were sitting here. He indicated that we are going through that contract phase.
Right.
County attorney has reviewed that and has been forwarded to the contractor to review and sign.
Okay.
So,
That's all I got.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chair, I believe there was another speaker.
Yes, she can speak. Tara?
Yes, good evening, gentlemen and ladies.
Good evening.
I just wanted to address one of the comments that was made about the per pupil expenditures being $19,997. So if someone looks carefully at that document that has the per pupil expenditures listed, you'll see that only 1 year, which was 2 years ago, gives the actual amount. So in the year 21-22, our per pupil expenditure was $17,603, and our ADM was $1176. The per pupil estimate that was most recently put on the website is an estimate for the 23-24 school year. The actual for that number won't be available for another year yet. That's based off of if we had gotten all of the money that was requested by the school board, the full amount with all of the additional funding, if we had gotten that, then the per pupil would be $19,997. Last year's estimated expenditure, as in 22-23 and then 23-24, those are all still estimates based on the draft budget, because that's when those numbers are given. There wouldn't be any way for a finance director to come up with a pure per pupil number earlier in the year for the next fiscal year when we don't even know what the Board of Supervisors is going to approve for the budget. Hopefully that makes sense. So that number is really going to be a whole lot closer to 17,800 probably for a guesstimate. And we still are running at about 1,200 students. So we actually haven't decreased. We're holding this year the same as we did last year. We're a little over 1,200 students. Hopefully that helps clarify a little bit.
Thank you, Tara.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? You got anybody else? All right, we don't have anybody else.
Do a motion
Yeah.
to adjourn?
If we have no other business.
Okay, we have none, I believe. At this time, I'll make a motion that we adjourn. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Comments? Vote?
Aye.
All right. Well, thank y'all ladies for coming today, and thank you for the discussion. I think it's been kind of enlightening to hear some answers today. Look forward to this other meeting here. Russell, do you have anything else? We don't need closed meeting today? All right. Motion to close?
Move. Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank everyone for coming today.